That we are live on YouTube. Hey, everybody, we are live and we're going to be hanging out today and editing some photos. And I'm really happy with the photos that were submitted. I'm really grateful that people joined us. And so, Jefferson Photo, I see you there on Instagram. Hop on over to YouTube. We're going to edit your photo today. And Alex, your photo as well. All right, so we are going to get started shortly. I'm just going to open up YouTube and make sure the stream looks good and make sure that we can keep up with the chat, which is what we want to do. We want to talk to people and see how everybody's doing. So, all right, so we have the chat opening up. I'm just going to type and say, hey, everybody. And then we are going to get started once we have, there's a couple people on there already. So if you're on YouTube right now, just leave a comment and say you're watching, what your name is. Shots by Alex. Boom. I love it. All right. Very cool. I love that people are joining in. So grateful to be here on a Sunday and just hanging out and enjoying that. So Alex Skytographer on Instagram. Alex actually beat me to the first chat comment on my own live stream, but that's cool. Jefferson, you're kind. I'm not a legend. My wife is watching from our other YouTube channel. We have a channel where we're doing tutorials for teachers, and she said she's my greatest admirer, which that's awesome. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. All right, so we are going to get started. So I think hopefully you can see my screen here. I'm going to switch over here to Lightroom. We have some photos. Let me get into a grid mode. Here we go. Hopefully Carlos joins us. He submitted a photo. You should be able to see me, and you should be able to see some of the photos that we might edit today. My plan, last time I went a little bit long. No lie, I did. I went a little bit long, and meaning I spent more time than I wanted on each photo, and it's exciting. I think I'm going to try to spend about 5 minutes per photo and do more photos. So Darlene, my wife, she's trolling me right now. She said long. So what's this? Over here we have another camera. So if you're just joining on Instagram, I told we're going to be streaming with two Canon EOS Rs. So this is the second view. I'm using Ecamm Live. So we're going to just test how these setups work. But right now we're going to pop into these photos. So what I would love in the chat, we have some people watching. Help me pick a photo to start with. And so we have a portrait right here. I should have numbered these. Oh, these are numbered. If you can see, this is 10. Let's start at the top. This is number 1. It's called Truck Under Darkness. Looks totally black. This is number 2 called Slow Man. Number 3 called Working It. Number 4 doesn't have a title, just says Image 2998. Number 5, then 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And you'll know 6 through 9 are astrophotography. So 6 through 9 are astrophotography. I'm going to tell you who submitted them later, but put a comment in the chat about which one you think we should start with, and then I'll pick one and we'll jump in. Oh, my wife says she's not trolling me, so that's sweet. That's sweet. All right, number 2. Okay, a vote for number 2. We're going to give it about 10 more seconds. I'm going to go. Yeah, that's number 2. Actually, Alex, you know what? I have to reset this one because that is actually not, that's not the original photo. I'm just going to hit reset. Boom. I was messing around with it earlier, but that's number 2. All right, see, Darlene says number 2 as well, and we'll give it about 5 more seconds. If anybody has a vote, drop a number in the chat, and I appreciate you for joining. Why don't you go ahead and like this video, and we will get started. All right, so we're going to edit number 2 right here. Oh, I saw a little, it's funny, I'm using Ecamm Live, and I have my chat panel up, and last time we did this, last Sunday, I couldn't see the chat very well, so it's cool. All right, here we go. This is called Slow Man. This is by a photographer out here in Southern California, and he is a music producer, and he also uses the Canon EOS R, and he live streams music and things like that. He's a talented guy named Bryce. Mike Walters, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you dropping in. We're going to be editing some photos today. We just voted on, I'm just going to recap for Mike. We just voted out of these which ones we're going to edit, and we went with number 2, Slow Man. This is shot by Bryce, 1/6400th of a second, f1.8, and ISO 160. So I notice a lot of negative space. Sorry, I was talking. I don't think the image was even up. I notice a lot of negative space off to the right, and so interesting. The man is looking to the right, so there's that kind of implied interest of him trying to see what's happening down the street, and so that's kind of that right there. What we're going to do is hop into the develop panel. Last week I used Capture One, and I'm new at Capture One. I am indeed new at Capture One. So I found that I worked very slow compared to what I wanted to do. And so in preparation for this, I switched over. Hey, Mike says, hello. Hello. Everybody in the chat, tell me where you're watching from. That would be cool just to hear if people are, in the United States, in California, where. So just drop in the chat where you're watching from. And so I'm going to switch back to Lightroom for today because I'm much more comfortable with it. All right, so this photo, I'm just going to play with the exposure. I'm going to bring down the highlights. Notice how the concrete is so white right there reflecting the sun. I can bring down those highlights and not really lose anything. I actually like the shadow behind him. You see right down here, his feet, the dark shadow behind him. I like that. So if I boosted the shadow, we would see some things in there that we don't want to see. All right, Jefferson says, show the picture. Can you see it? Can you see the picture? You can't, you just can see me, and that's not good enough? All right, that's ugly. Let's go to the picture. All right, here we go. Bringing the picture back in. Right here, if we bump up the shadows, we see this detail, so I actually don't like that. I'm going to bring this down. I like that dark shadow behind him. I've already reduced the highlights. Jefferson, I appreciate you. I appreciate you keeping me on track. This is coffee right here. Hopefully you have something nice and refreshing to drink for this live stream. All right, we are 10 minutes in. I better hustle up. All right, so what we're going to do, I think, is I'm going to go into this temperature panel. See if I move this up to the right, it gets warmer. That's colder. I kind of like the fact that there is a contrast between the sunshiny part of the street and then there's shadows out in the street. So these shadows, what I want to do with those shadows is kind of bring in some aqua and colder temperatures and then heat up, warm up the concrete. So I'm gonna go over and start working on that. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is just do a gradient right here. I'm going to try to miss his face and bring the temperatures down up there. And then I'm just going to drop into the color panel. I think we have some blues here. I'm going to swing them toward the aqua. All right, so I just kind of cool down behind, above him in the street, those shadows, and I'm going to throw another gradient on behind him and kind of give a little of the same treatment. Actually, you know what? Can I just duplicate this and turn it? Duplicate. And then I could, I don't know how to turn it. Does anybody know a Lightroom shortcut to turn a gradient filter? That's what I want to do. So I will actually have to just do another one. I'll pull it this way, and then I'll just cool the temperature off behind him a little bit, and then bump down those aquas, bump them up rather behind him. So we get that, and then I'm going to throw a radial filter. Alex suggests inverting. Ooh. Let me try that. All right. So let me delete this radial filter, go back to my linear gradient. And again, I said I was not going to spend that much time on each photo. I just love the aqua that comes in there all the way down. That I want that street kind of a cooler hue to kind of bring that kind of city urban vibe to it. So I'm gonna cool that down there. And so Alex said, can you invert it? So I duplicated that filter. What does inverting it do? Actually, I don't have an invert button on that one. I only have that it appears on the Radial Filter. I'll have to leave that as is. So I'm going to throw in a very big swath here where I warm up the concrete. Make that, oh, this one I do have to invert, definitely. And I think I overdid that, but I'm just going to bring that down here. And then I'm going to hit that. And I actually, it's okay. I feel like it's lacking something a little bit here. So True Aqua is nice. Oh, yep. I'm missing the chat. Mike, I appreciate you. So Mike, you're a Lightroom user. I think everybody drop a Lightroom or Capture One or something else in the chat. Whatever you use to edit with. Me too. I'm also new with Capture One. Mike, I'm trying to switch. I feel like Capture One has just a better image quality, but I really have not gotten proficient at that yet. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into my crop panel because there's so much room on the right and the interest is on the left and it's vertical. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to hit 4x5 and I'm going to hit the X key. And the X key inverts your orientation. So I'm just going to hit return. And so now we have kind of this moody picture. I don't totally love the how much I warmed up that concrete. I'm going to bring that down a little bit. It seems kind of fakies. Yeah. Lightroom definitely is good. Oh, Photoshop. Alex is a Photoshop fan. Very cool. All right, so this photo, I think I'm just going to move on. So really quickly, I'm going to toggle. These are the original shot, and this is with my edits outside of the crop. But all right, let's put another one up to choose from. So we have Truck Under Darkness, #1. We've touched on Slow Man, Working It. We have #4 is a beach scene. #5 is a knife or everyday carry. Oh, Jefferson, thank you very much. Show us the picture. Yes, that's going to be my foible. I'm going to leave the camera on my big fat face. Big fat face. All right, okay, enough clowning around. All right, so Slow Man, here's the picture. Can we get a full screen on that one? Yep, Slow Man, here's the picture. Hopefully you see that. I actually covered up my preview panel, so I don't know if you do or not. I like it. I like it. But let's move on. All right, let's vote. #1, Truck Under Darkness. #3, #4, the beach scene. #5, the knife. Then we have 6 through 9 are astrophotography shots, and then we have 10. Drop in the chat the #1, the number you want to see, and I'm just going to back these out a little bit. You can see all those photos. Take a minute. I'm going to play a little tune here. I think if I have my music on. This is a music track written by Bryce. He's Upright on Instagram, and that was his shot we just edited called Slow Man. So drop in the chat which one you want to see next. Dealer's choice. Does that mean I choose? Alex, I think that's a poker metaphor, and I think it's a poker metaphor, and I don't know. I just don't know. Dealer's choice. I think that means I choose. All right. So I'm gonna go in here and take #10, Jefferson. All right. Looks like a Sony file, but hey, Jefferson, we don't hold that against you. All cameras are accepted here. All right. So let's go in here and let's edit this photo. So it's a nice portrait. Let's zoom in, crystal clear on those eyes. So first thing I notice is a lot of backlight, and so I want to dim that down. So I'm going to go to my develop panel. I'm just going to bring those highlights down a little bit, and you should see some of the branches that are kind of bokeh'd out, very nice, come back. So here's before, and here's after, and so I like that. I feel like there's a lot of green in the background, which is good because it's nature. We like nature. But I think I want to move those into the yellow a little bit and kind of warm it up. So I'm just going to do that a little bit. I feel like his face, obviously the sun's behind him. There's a scene back there. And let me know if the music is too loud or distracting. But I feel like his face needs a little bit of light on it. So I'm going to do a radial filter right around this little punum here, and then I'm going to invert that And then I am going to bump up the shadows first. I just feel like moving up the shadows is a gentler way to handle that. So I'm going to bump up the exposure next. Now we get a little bit of a glow on the face. Really, I want the center of attention to be right on the. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, I agree on the 2 green, and thanks for the feedback on the music. I'm gonna do a bigger radial filter outside and just bring down the exposure of the outside. Just sort of a vignette. Oh, too much, just a little bit. And then I might try just a linear gradient at the top and decrease the exposure further. I mean the highlights and then the exposure. I'm trying to capture a little bit of blue, so I want the blue to come back in the sky. The yellows are maybe still a little bit too green, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into that panel and see if I can mess with those. So here we go. I could desaturate the yellows a little. So that's taking all the yellow out right there. You can see it's kind of it's a cool, almost like a tintype or something, very vintagey. But I could desaturate it like that, but I like the saturation. I just want the vibe just to be a little more warm. All right, so I think what I'm gonna do, I feel like I need more brightness on his face. So I'm gonna move here. I'm gonna maybe just bring that out a little bit and then just increase exposure ever so slightly right there. Not too bad. All right, notice this splash of sunlight right by his foot. I kind of dig that. So I'm just gonna actually paint here. I'm gonna use my brush. I'm just gonna brush over that area. And it's a little white, so I want to increase the temperature there. So it's more like a little bit of golden sunlight, a little golden hour right there. I like that. And then I'm going to do a radial filter on this little apple here and just get it, see if we can get it to pop a little bit more. A little bit of texture, sharpening, and a little bit of touch of exposure. And then I think I'm going to do a little bit of brush on the shadow and see if I can darken that shadow. Oops. What happened? That was like I inverted it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on the radial filter. I wanted to be on a brush. And I'm just going to deepen the blacks of the shadow behind the apple. And that's good. Okay, suggestions in the chat. Anybody have a suggestion? I think what I want to do is brush into these books a little bit and just darken these spines. It's more of a backlit photo and they're kind of bright, so I just want to darken those, deepen the shadows a little bit, and then I think I just want a little bit of golden light right here, so I'm just going to warm up his shoulder like it's being hit by the sun. All right, so this is it. Let me turn off those adjustments there. This is, let's see if we can go full. It's not bad. I like it. It's a great shot. Jefferson, this is a great shot. Drop the luminance of the yellows. Alex, let's do that. Drop the luminance of the yellows. So we go here and drop the yellows. So right there, I get a little funny feeling. I think I like it right in between there. So I agree with you. I'm going to drop it a little, but not all the way. Another suggestion. Oh yeah, making the apple more red. So I'm going to go back to my radial filter. I'm going to click here, and then we could just play with the luminance of the apple there, the saturation of just the apple. I feel like, how far can we go? I feel like that's a good appley red looking color. So here is before and here's after. Before and after. Before and after. I like it. I like it. Good job, Jefferson. I appreciate you submitting that photo. We're about 20 minutes in. I'm going to go back to the panel. We've edited this one and this one. So we have number 1 to choose from, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've done 2 and 10. Show side by side. Shots by Alex. Alex, we'll take your advice. Right here. Now, where is that? Right here? My bad. It helps if, okay, I just select one. And is it, Help me, Alex, with the Y side by side, before and after. I have the this is obviously a tool I need to figure out. Bottom left of any photo. So bottom left of any photo. Bottom left. I don't see it. I don't see it. Y comparing. I have XY. YY. I'm going to have to Google that. That might be a good tutorial. For right now, let's go back to our set of 10. We've edited 2. And I just want to thank you for joining me. I really appreciate everybody coming in and watching. And just give me a number of a photo. Number 1, 2, 3. Well, we've done 2. Number 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we've done number 10. I'm going to see if I can increase the size here a little. Number 4. That is a cool shot. I like that shot. Any other votes? Jefferson votes for number 4. Any other votes? All right. I'm going to let it ride for a minute. I have a notification here. All right. Heem just DM'd me on Instagram. He was one of our featured photos last week, and he said he forgot to send a photo, but I said, just join. Okay, Mike says 6 or 4. 6 or 4. 6 or 4. Okay, I'm going to go with 4 because we have 2 people said 4. Okay, so this is cool. This is Carlos. Actually, I met Carlos because I invited him to hear Matthew Jordan Smith speak. And Matthew Jordan Smith is a Nikon ambassador. And I met him at CES, started listening to his podcast. And Carlos is in the area. That's all I knew. Carlos is in the area. And he talked about going to Joshua Tree with Pablo and I once. And I said, hey, come to this session with Matthew Jordan Smith. And so we both met up in Santa Ana. There's like a photography center in downtown. And then come to find out he lives like across the street from me. I mean, yeah, so we're neighbors. So Carlos Ray Photography is the account that took this photo. And so I believe it's with the RP. So this is the Canon EOS RP. Does anybody know on Lightroom, can I see the metadata for the camera model? I have my dimensions, the date. I have this 1/80th of a second, f13, ISO 400. Does anybody know? Can I see the camera model? Remind me. All right, let's jump into the develop panel here. And all right, we're about halfway through. I'm going to change up our editing music. This is a little different vibe from Bryce, again, upright on, and I think it's a 1 for the eye and upright. Upright, he does music, and he contributed our photo, the first one we did today. On the right. All right, Mike, on the right. So it's right here, histogram, all the way down. It sounds familiar. I think I've seen it. Am I missing it? Enable profile corrections. So I know it was the 24 to 105. I know he has the RP, so I know it's the RP because he has the RF lens on it. So, but I would love on the library tab. Today is all about learning. On the right, on the library tab, metadata, Mike for the win. Right here, Canon EOS RP. Mike, I feel like I'm learning so much today. Thank you. Thank you, man. All right. So we're going to jump back into the develop tab. And what's cool is we got this rock formation, but then we have the brilliant spot in the sky. And so I think I want to kind of accentuate, obviously the sky is beautiful, but this rock is in the foreground. It's all about the rock. That's the direction I'm going to go. First thing I'm going to go is I'm going to dim the highlights. All right. So now we get more of a sunsetty glow in the sky. Mike, I totally think you're right. I think the rock, I think there's detail in there. So let's vote. What do you think? On the rock, should I I'm going to use shadows. That's what I would go to, but how should I do it? Can you vote? Type in the chat. Would I do a linear filter or mask from the bottom? Should I paint the rock and then brush up the shadows? Should I just turn the shadows up on everything? What do you think? Okay, Alex says he found the comparison. It's on top menu, view, then before and after. All right, so type in the chat how you think I should adjust the brighten up the rock. Mike says the rock brother and contrast. Brush, brighter, and contrast. Okay, I'm gonna do a linear, I feel like I have a graduated filter. I don't know why I don't use the right terminology. Graduated filter. So I'm just gonna do this graduated filter on the bottom, and I'm gonna bring up the shadows. I see the rock, but I brighten the beach too much. I don't like that. I like this real moody glow. So actually what I'm gonna do is a radial filter in an oval shape across the body of the rock. That's probably too big, but I'm gonna move that in right here. And I'm just gonna bump up the shadows within it. Now I have to remember to invert it and then bump up the shadows right there. And now we get to see some of the texture of the rock. And I'm gonna throw another one right here. Instead of trying to make that oval do for everything, I'm just gonna bring that right there. I'm gonna invert it, and then I'm gonna bring up the shadows. All right, very cool. And I feel like I missed this little guy right here. This little corner has no detail in it. I'm going to invert and bring up the shadows. And so we use 3 radial filters just to kind of illuminate what's going on that rock. Okay, much better. I love that the rock has character. Yep, I agree. Alex says you could just brush it in and then use some temperature to warm it up. So let's do that. Let's do that. Let's take Alex's suggestion. Let's brush in here, brush in there. Let's bump up the temperature a little bit. Not too crazy. I feel like maybe the texture also could help. Ooh, I like that a lot. I'm gonna zoom in there. Yeah, that rock has some real character to it. Okay, now we haven't done much with the whole, the overall exposure. So I'm just gonna dip down. I'm gonna give it a little more moodiness. I'm also gonna throw on a graduated filter. I'm learning my vocabulary. Graduated filter here, and I'm gonna darken the sky a little bit. Give it a little more, like it's a storm or the storm just happened. A little more foreboding, I think is the word I'm looking for. Foreboding in the sky. All right, so let's get back to editing this rock. The only thing that bothers me now is I feel this patch right out here is a little too happy. And maybe that's the narrative. Maybe we have this cool sunset and there's kind of some aqua and teals happening there, but I feel like I would want, what happens if I just globally adjust the exposure? I feel like that's too dark. We lose the character of the rock. Heavy texture brushed on the sky. Ooh, yeah, that's good, that's good. So let me get my brush. I'm gonna throw some texture up here. Now, I usually mess with clarity to get these clouds a little more gravelly is the word I was gonna say, a little more gritty. So that's brushing the sky. That's a great suggestion, Mike. I appreciate that. Give that kind of depth to the sky. Actually, I wouldn't even mind doing that down here. What happens if we brush down there? And what happens if I dip the blacks a little, just so we get a little more contrast? All right, we're about 30 minutes into our live stream session, and I appreciate you sticking around and watching. If you haven't dropped in the chat where you're watching from, drop in the chat. I'm going to review the chat here and see. I think somebody was in Southern California. That's probably Jefferson, if I'm right. I'm just reviewing the chat. Alex is in South Carolina, but Alex was not too long ago out in Utah doing some camping and photography. Mike, I don't know if you dropped in the chat where you're watching from. I missed it. I apologize. Maybe add it back. All right. So Mike was saying brush, you can do new and change effect. So I did new here. I'm going to just double click on effect to zero those out. And Mike is watching from Delft. the most beautiful city in Holland. Where? What time is it, Mike? Mike, what time is it in Delft? I've never been. I've been to Amsterdam once, the airport only, unfortunately. Now I'm embarrassed. Is Amsterdam in Holland? Mike, help me out. Help me out. It's like midnight, 12:30 there. Wow. All right, Mike, help me out. You said you want brush and change effect. What kind of? I lost track of what we were doing with this photo. I kind of like it as is. I probably would brush down here and just kind of take some of these the shadows in the sand and kind of darken that foreground a little so the water gets more reflective. Ooh, that's too far. But I do like the shadow of the rock right in the center, kind of lining your eye up with that. I don't know. I'm kind of digging it. Oh, good. Mike assured me that Amsterdam is the capital city, so I wasn't too far off there. I think I like this one as is. You see this water? I think we could do. As soon as I said that, I could find something else. Right here, I just feel like this water, maybe just bump up the texture right here, right behind the rock. I usually use clarity for that. Looks a little fakesies, a little contrast. I don't hate it. I'm just gonna sharpen the horizon and maybe we'll just call that a day. Sharpen the horizon right there. And then it's not bad. I think we're done. Oh yeah. Let's see this photo here. Let's go full screen. It's loading. It's taking forever. All right. I like it. I like it. Now, Mike, I would probably take this into Photoshop and dodge and burn the rock a little bit. I think that would be my go-to. That was the end of a track by Bryce, who's Upright, UPR, the #1, GHT on Instagram. And so I think I would love a little more saturation in this photo, and then we're just a little global saturation right there. And actually, you know what? I think this area here just wants a little more drama is what it wants. I'm going to bring in, touch more vibrance, or oops, oh, that's actually kind of cool. Just darkened everything, but I want to invert that. And I did it too much. I think leave well enough alone. But I do want, gosh, I think I'm just going to leave it. Leave it. All right. Let's go back to our voting. We've done 3 photos so far. I'm going to go back to this panel here, and let's choose one. Truck Under Darkness. We've addressed Slow Man. We've edited the beach. We have Working It. The knife photo. And then we have 4 astrophotography photos and the portrait we've already touched. Thanks. Okay, Mike. He says it looks good now. And now I'm going to try to apply what I learned. Somebody said go under View. Was that Alex? Go under View and to compare the before and after. I'm looking through the chats. I found the comparisons top menu, view, then before and after. Top menu, view, before and after. Oh, I'm looking. Do you see it? I don't see it. I was just trying to look at the before and after. Hey, people. Well, am I just missing it? Oh my gosh, where's the before and after? View, before and after. View options? I don't know. I'm too slow. You've got a Mac. I don't know how to help you. All right, I'm just going to go backslash. That's, let me go in the develop library. Develop module, backslash, takes all the adjustments off. This is the original image. Here we go. And after, and before and after, before and after. I think it's a little bit dark, but you know what? We're going to move on. I'm just going to bump up the exposure a little bit. All right, number 6, somebody voted for. Oh, Alex said shots, view, why, before, after. There it is. Let's do left and right, before and after. Genius. Thank you, Alex. Thank you. View on the toolbar, and then there's our before and after. Frank is in the house. Nuclear64 on Instagram. The button right below the delete button, before and after. The button right below the delete button. The button right below the delete button. Oh man, Frank, I'm trying to keep up with you. I have it here under the view, but Frank, tell me if you're talking about the view menu or something else. Actually, I'm just going to go back to our last photo we edited, and I'm going to do the view before and after. Okay, now I see it. I don't see it right there. Am I in the wrong module? Do I have to go to develop and then view? That's it. There. Oh, it's already in there. Before and after. I actually don't like the after as much. Sad. Sometimes you live and learn. That's what's good about these comparisons. All right, let's jump into another editing experience. We are here. Somebody said number 6. Here it is. It's number 6. This is a photo from none other than Alex in the chat today, Skytographer on Instagram. And so he has another one I'm going to actually show you. If you look at this exposure, it's 15 seconds. And it is 15 seconds. 15 seconds, ISO 3200. And I'm going to show you this other one right here. This one is 15 seconds, but this one is 180 seconds. So this photo is 180 seconds. That's like 10 times the amount of light. And this one is also amazing, 240 seconds. Now, how did he do this? He has an Instagram. He has a Photoshop workflow that allows him to get 240 seconds of exposure. And you know the stars are moving, so he's manipulating that in Photoshop to get these stars like pin pricks. So it's just amazing. So we might edit one of those, but right now I'm just gonna go take a look at this one with the tent, because the tent has that cool foreground interest. And let's see, what should we do? I feel like, I'm not sure about the color of the tent. I like maybe it's a little too saturated, a little too distracting because the sky is so amazing. I'm just going to mess around and just see what's out there. So look, we're just going to mess around. We're going to just, okay, if we crank that, I could get out of the before and after view. That would be good. Just turn that off. If we crank that, we see there's a lot of grass here, hills, and it's kind of an orangey tint. So I'm just going to put that back the way it was. Actually, I forgot. Alex has some presets, and so I think I downloaded them, and I was just going to throw on some presets there. Milky Way tones. So let's see what happens if... Oh, Alex! That's a killer. He calls this preset Foreground Blaster, and so it actually brings up that foreground. You can see the landscape. That's pretty good. Let me go to Gentle Touch. It's nice. Got some yellows here. Light pollution is just so tough. I'm not sure I love that one. Ooh, light pollution slayer. That's great. I almost said gross. Light pollution is gross, but that's great. My favorite was Foreground Blaster, but I'm just gonna go and reset this one and just edit by hand. Actually, I have a Milky Way preset too somewhere called Galaxy Sledgehammer. So that's what happens when you do that. It hits it over the head, and then we could actually bring down this this filter right there. But let's just reset it and edit it by hand. I like more of a blue in my outer space photos, and so that's something I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to cool the temperature of the night sky just by bringing a radial. Sorry. I keep doing that. A graduated filter down from above, as if it were heaven. By the way, hey, Nuclear Frank, if you're still here, I think you were shooting a wedding up in the mountains yesterday. Let me know how it was. Hi, Wes. Also, hi to Nuclear. I follow you on Insta. Snimanje Vinkanja. I don't know how to say that. Maybe I will learn. Hopefully, I'll learn how to say that correctly. So thank you. Can you tell us, Snimanje, where you are watching from? Let us know where you're watching from. Frank, Nuclear Frank on Instagram, he's nearby. We've never met in person, but he is nearby. Hopefully one day we shall meet. All right, so we're going to cool down the night sky. I'm just going to cool it down a little. I'm creeping in there so we see it gets, instead of brown, more blues. I'm going to just see if I drag this down, what happens? It's not really affecting down by the horizon. So I'm just going to leave that there. I actually like this bottom part is kind of yellowy. But there's something else I'm going to do. I'm going to crush those blacks so the stars really pop. I'm going to bring up the whites. And then what happens if we hit clarity? Clarity also seems to deepen the black. So I'm just going to stop there. I love the night sky right as it is. Frank, how was the wedding in Big Bear temperature-wise? It must have been beautiful. It must have been beautiful. It's been beautiful here. So your stories on Instagram looked like it was in heaven. It looked gorgeous up there. All right, I'm going to go down here and introduce a filter, graduated mask from the bottom, and I'm going to raise the shadows a little bit. I'm not crazy about. I don't need all that foreground. I might cool it a little, and then that helped a little bit. And then I'm going to do a radial filter right on this tent, and then we're going to move on. We're not going to spend a ton of time on this one because it's an amazing shot. What do I want to do with this orange tent? I feel like if I could just bring down the luminance of the orange a little bit. Oh, actually what did I do wrong? I feel like it's not inverted. Yep, I need to invert that. Go back down here and I'm going to find my luminance of my orange. It didn't do a whole heck of a lot. And actually it's adjusting outside of that radial filter, so I don't understand what's happening. I'm going to delete that. I'm just going to brush on that tent. Brushy brush right there. And then I'm going to pull those oranges down. Luminance orange down. It's still affecting everything else. Uh-oh. I need some helps. Off topic, Mike brought a diving waterproof case for iPhone. A diving... So you take your iPhone underwater? That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So I brushed there. I think what I'm seeing is those tools, the brush tools, aren't affected by the HSL tab. So I'm tripping. I'm just going to bring down the saturation by hand there. And then I'm going to bring up the shadows a little bit to brighten it. I want it a little bit... Oh, that's actually good. I like that, bringing the contrast up on the tent. Let's see. I'm not... gosh, the cloud cover cuts this photo in half, and it's I don't know. It's kind of yellowy on the bottom and orange, and then the sky is. It just almost feels like two worlds. Which, yeah, that's what it is. It's two worlds. But I wish I could get the horizon feeling a little less sulfury is the word. So I think I'm going to throw on a radial filter right here, right across the horizon, not try to mess with anything else, and just cool this down to match what's above. Okay, you have to invert it. I always forget that on the radial mask. So I'm going to cool the temperature down right on the horizon. I like it. I like it better. I like it. Okay. All right, that's good. That's interesting. Really cool. All right. Now, using what I've learned. Snimanje, I'm watching from Serbia. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for joining from Serbia. I appreciate that. We're going to do the before and after and see if I really believe that I've improved the photo through the edit. I don't know. Vote. Is it better? Say yes, better, no in the chat. I like the blues. I just don't feel like I did. The tent is so interesting. I just feel like I didn't do it justice. So tell me yes in the chat. It's better. On the right is the after. On the left is the before. I do like the blue part. Now, there's something else we could do here. If you want to vote on which one you like, if you like the after better. I do like to get into the weeds on these Milky Way photos, and so I might brush in here. I'm going to get a real narrow brush, and then I'm just going to follow the galactic core up, and kind of all the dark areas. I'm going to snake through that, and then I'm just going to punch down the blacks. And so you get a little more of a 3D type of feel, and then I'm going to do new and widen the brush over here and sweep up that other side, and then I'm just gonna bring the blacks down. Didn't do a great job on that one over there. I'm just gonna brush that out. So did I destroy it? I don't know, it's pretty dramatic. Let's see, before and after, and then we'll move on. It's 3:48. Oh my gosh, it's got to be our last edit here. All right, there it is. It's cool. I like it. I like it. I like it better. All right. And everybody, thank you for joining. This has been really a lot of fun. Again, I might do a video about this setup here. I'm using 2 EOS Rs, and they're just USB-C'd into my laptop, and I'm using Ecamm to switch. And so I might do a video on this setup. And so, yeah, let's take a look. Frank says the weather was perfect in the mountains. Yes, the before and after. Nice, side by side. So I actually do like the after. So I'm using the backslash in the develop mode to go before, after, before, after, before, after. Okay, I'll stop. Oh, Frank, you like the live streaming setup? My bad. I just realized I was toggling before and after and just talking to myself because the camera was on me. So here's before and after so you could see. Yeah, I do like that. I like the blueness. All right, so that was a track by Bryce. He's upright on Instagram, UPR, the #1 GHT, and he actually submitted a photo and for us. And let's just take a look at, we've edited number 2 here, number 4, number 5, nope, number 6. Actually, I have to say I really appreciate the help. It's more fun to edit together than it is by myself. I really love this photo that Jefferson submitted, this portrait. It's really cool. So we've edited 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's do a vote. Let's do a vote. We could do number 1, number 3, portraits, the knife picture, number 5, another astrophotography picture. So it's number 1, 3, 5. 1, 3, 5. We did all even numbers. Hey, is this a setup? We did 2, 4, and 6, and 10. It seems like we'd have to do number 8. If there's no video, if there's no votes in the chat, I'm going to go for number 8, which is really similar to number 6 because it's astrophotography. But of course, it is done by Photoshop, stitching in using Star Tracker. Okay, Mike says number 8. It's 8. All right. So Frank says number 6. We did number 6. That was number 6. And number 8 is similar, but it was done using Star Tracker. Is it software? If you're there, Alex, in the chat, is it software? Let us know. Star Tracker, I guess software. And so Photoshop stitches it together 180 seconds. So you don't get the star trails. Like there's no way to take one image 180 seconds and not have that movement. Yeah, this is really cool. Now I'm just going to be a klutz here. I'm just going to go and I'm going to copy settings. Star Tracker moves counter to the Earth. It's hardware. Okay. How expensive is that, Alex? If you don't mind me asking, like what's the range of Star Tracker hardware so that it moves with the Earth's to counter the movement? I might just go in here and where are my settings? This is going to go up here. Oh, I'm in the I need to be in the develop module. I might just go in in here and copy, and then I'm just gonna go over to our new photo and paste. Now this is called cheating, and it probably won't work. Oh, look at that brush mark. That's awesome. Or is that a radial filter? That's a radial filter, my friends, gone awry. Yeah, that didn't really work. Okay, so I'm gonna just edit this by hand. $300 for the star tracker. I mean, this is a great photo. First thing I'm gonna do is bring down the exposure a little bit. Oops, I'm on the radial filter still. Let's reset that, get off the radial filter, reduce exposure a little bit. I'm gonna drop the blacks. I'm gonna bring up the whites. I'm going to bring the temperature down to more of a blue, and I'm gonna kind of paint through the galactic core here. Whoa, that was horrible. Let's hit reset, double clicking on effect to reset. I'm gonna just brush in through here, and then I'm just gonna bring down the blacks right there, just a touch to give it a little more. I'm gonna go on the outside, widen this brush, and kind of double click on effect and brush over the sides of the Milky Way, drop the blacks a little bit more, and then punch up the whites. And then I think I'm gonna do that one more time further out. And then I'm gonna drop the blacks again, and then bring up the whites in there. Now down here, I think the horizon's too bright for my liking. I'm just gonna drag up a little bit and then reduce exposure slightly, just slightly, cool it off a little bit. I like this photo as is. So we're gonna go before and after. That's before and then after. I like it. It's cool. I'm gonna do a right click. I'm gonna create a virtual copy. And then what I'm gonna do is go over and see the Galaxy Sledgehammer is a preset that I have. It's free somewhere on my channel. Ooh, that just destroyed it. But let's just bring down the exposure and see. Ooh, it's kind of gritty. That feels very outer spacey. Yeah. Uh-oh, Nuclear Franks is he's getting the Star Tracker hardware. He's on Amazon right now. $300, that's a good deal. It is a good deal. All right, I'm gonna reset this one, and I'm going to try one of Alex's presets. Foreground blasters right there. Did I reset that? Yeah, I reset that. Gentle touch. Wow, it's very bright. Ooh, light pollution slayer. I like that one. Okay, this is Alex's preset called Light Pollution Slayer. You can get it on his website. I think it's shotsbyalex.com. Alex, you can put your website in the chat, and then there's a Lightroom presets button right at the top. I like that one. I'm just gonna take the exposure down a little bit and throw a graduated mask on the bottom, and then cool that off a little bit and bring it down so it feels more. See if I can blend it better. I still feel that the light around the horizon is not right. I just don't like, but I don't like that either. But there is, I mean, maybe just painting it. I'm just gonna paint through there and then drop the exposure a little bit. Oh, whoa, there's gotta be a happy medium. Cool it down a little. It's better, and I wonder if I can just kill a little bit of that light. And cool it down. It's tough to blend it when you have multiple radial filters. Kind of goes from aqua to more blue. So here's something I could do. I could go down to a global adjustment, find the blue, and then take the hue of the blue more towards, rather the hue of the aqua more towards the sky. I think I like that. That's a better match, and there's really just this one corner here that's kind of blown out, a little bit of white. This just dip the exposure there. Oh, just a little bit, not too crazy. And then one more, brush it here, and then we're just gonna take it down. I feel like this is an amazing photo, and I didn't do an amazing job editing it. So my apologies, Alex, Skytographer on Instagram. Mike says, oh, Alex says, delete the gradient filter you put on there. I put one on there too. Yours is there? Oh, Helps to know the guy who created the preset. So everybody take a look at that. That's better. This was before, and I kind of trying to manipulate it, and Alex said, just delete it. I put a graduated filter on there. Just delete it. That's cool. I like that. I like that. That's cool. Mike says, on the left, the few tree tops away. Yeah, I get you. Maybe with a clone spot healing brush. What do you think? Will it work? Brackets right to increase. Just gonna draggity drag over that and see what happens. That's horrible. Oh, my opacity is jacked up, as they would say. I don't love it. I probably would do that in Photoshop. Gosh. I just can't seem to quite. Maybe I just need to. Maybe it's darker the higher go up. I'll just pull this down more level with it. Is that why it's still kind of shadowy? All right, I'm going to click off the healing brush. That is better, I believe. That's good. I like it. I made a mess of that. I took the trees out, but I'd really probably use content aware fill is what I would do in Photoshop. So let's go over there and do that and just be grown-ups about the whole thing. Let's just be grown-ups and use Photoshop where Photoshop is necessary. Now, did I undo? Okay. Did I undo enough? Yeah, let's go backwards. Redo delete adjustment, and now we're just going to open in Photoshop, and then we're going to take out those brushes. They're not brushes, they're branches. We're going to take them out. Photoshop is firing up somewhere in the world on my laptop, and this is going to be our I think our last edit. I got to jump off. This has been awesome. This has been a very cool hour just hanging out, talking about yeah, Alex said crop it in. That's true. Oh, Alex said I was on heal. I should have been on clone. So before we go to Photoshop like a madman, let's just close that down. Actually, we're here. So I'm just going to lasso tool, and I'm just going to circle that right there and edit. One more time, edit, content aware fill. And then it's going to say, hey, where do you want to select from? Anywhere, baby, because it's all sky. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be legit. I'm going to hit OK. Hit Command S to take it back to Lightroom. That's the other program I use. While it's saving, I'm going to go over here, say thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. I really dig this. I think we're going to do every Sunday that I'm able to jump on and do some editing. And so we have successfully taken it back in and taken those branches out. And that's cool. Let's do a little before and after. Oh, you know what? Because I went to Photoshop and came back, it won't do it. It will not do it. The before and after, right? Am I right? If I go to develop and I go view, show before and after, it won't do it. It won't do it because I was in Photoshop and made a different file. All right, that's it. We're just going to review what we did together. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate your comments, your guidance. I learned so much. If you haven't said like, Mike, you can go to bed. It's midnight in Holland. I appreciate you joining. I really wanted to do this one, and this was submitted by a guy in Australia named Braden Lampkin. So if you can find him, Braden Lampkin does some great shots, and he submitted this, and I wanted to do this one, but maybe we'll save it for another time. So we did the Slow Man photo, the beach photo from Carlos Ray. Slow Man was from Upright on Instagram, whose music we were enjoying this during the editing. This picture with the tent in the sky, Skytographer. Alex, thank you for contributing that. And number 8, which we took into Photoshop and removed those branches. And then number 10, which was Jefferson and his portrait. These were fun. This was so much fun. Thank you for. Let's have a. Can we? Yeah. That's it. That's the end of the live stream. So everybody, thank you for joining. Signing off. Mike, if we're connected on Instagram, I'll send you my email address. and then you can send me a photo, and we'll edit that. We'll incorporate it. Frank, I appreciate you, man. One day we'll meet up, have a coffee. Glad you're out there shooting. I saw you doing that wedding yesterday. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing it on the story. And Alex, again, thank you for contributing. Thank you, everybody, for teaching me more about Lightroom than I knew before. And we are out. So see you next time. Thanks for joining.